Is this the establishment's last hope, last chance to derail the Trump train? Joining me now, Gina Loudon, Mike Shields, Richard Grinnell, and Senator Scott Brown. Richard, let me start with you. You haven't had a chance to weigh in on the show yet. It feels like this is the last stand. Of course, Rubio probably will have unlimited money, unlimited access to all of the power structure, but will that be enough?
Well, look, I think the big story is that it's coming down between Trump and Rubio, not Trump and Cruz. It seems like Ted Cruz is getting pushed out. Momentum is stopping for Cruz. And there's a whole bunch of the non-Trump vote that's going to Rubio. I think there's now a belief within the Republican establishment and Republican activists, and I separate both of them. I think there's now a belief that if you don't want Trump, you better get behind Rubio so that the Rubio-Cruz vote is not split.
You know, Senator Brown, you were so fired up last segment, man. I love it. That's what propelled you to the Senate, by the way. You know, Eric Erickson also had made a point, I think, in one of his pieces that recently that to that point that Richard made, the non-Trump vote, if you're in the state and whoever's in number two, polling in number two, vote for that person, no matter who you are, just to derail Donald Trump. I mean, folks are going this far, and doesn't that muddle up the entire process?
Well, first of all, good luck. The numbers, the math, as you talked about with Neil, it's getting a little bit ahead. You're always going to be kind of just reaching and reaching and reaching. So the math, they better hurry up and actually make a decision who they're going to support for the number two. That being said, I love Marco. I love Ted. Any one of them, as I said, would make a better president than Hillary and Bernie. So let's start with that. But don't you think it's ironic, not only Rick and obviously you, Charles, that in years past we've had the activists and the kind of outliers, going to teach us a lesson. They're going to show Mitt Romney a lesson because he's not pure, he's not this, he's not that. And now we have the establishment, in fact, is going to show the so-called outsiders the lesson. And the lesson is, well, I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump if, in fact, he's the ultimate nominee. Right. Well, guess what? No offense, you're going to have a President Clinton or a President Sanders. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the script certainly has been turned upside down.
I will support the ultimate nominee. I will support the ultimate nominee no matter who it is, so we can retain the Senate, keep the presidency, keep the House, and actually do the people's business on our way of doing it.
Real quick, Mike, I mean, again, you've seen this process from the inside and from the outside. What do you make of it? Can ultimately this thing be held no matter who wins?
Well, sure. I mean, I think one of the ironic things, you're talking about how Marco Rubio is now getting all the establishment support. You know, of course, when he ran for the Senate, he was running against Charlie Crist. He was anything but the establishment guy. And so now, I think these terms get a little bit mixed up. And like I pointed out, the three sort of top contenders on the Republican side are someone who's never held office and two freshman senators who really are not been a part of what's been going on in Washington, D.C. And so I think what you're really seeing is there is a movement on the right and in the country in general where they want change. They reject what President Obama's been doing. And there's a lot of energy for that. We're also seeing higher turnout amongst Republicans. Right. We see really weakness on the Democratic Party side where we've got some sort of old standard politicians running over there. So I really think that that's the real big story here.
Gina, here's the thing, though. The establishment, the power structure in Washington, D.C., they are feeling the heat. Their world could be turned upside down, and a ton of money is pouring into the Rubio coffers.
Yeah, we have to remember, this is not something necessarily very noble, Charles. And I think that those who have taken so many shots at Trump might want to stand back for a moment and look at who they've found themselves aligned with. And that is the establishment that many of them have been fighting for many years. Because, Charles, this is all about the consultants in Washington, D.C. keeping their jobs, the people who like to have influence and wield their power and their money from having that influence. They know Donald Trump is going to put a stop to that, or at least they're afraid he is. And they are pulling out all the stops to turn all their fire on Donald Trump. This should send a message to Americans about exactly where the dividing line is coming in and where they're going to fall down.
Hey, Charles, can I jump in here for a second?
We're out of time, Rich. We're going to bring you back, though. We're out of time for this segment. I would just say, a lot of people see the Trump train coming and the gravy train gone. I had to slip that in. Guys, we'll all come back. In the meantime, I want to talk about